Well, when you're travelling in the Arctic, one of the things which you may not initially think of is the fact that it's a huge mental challenge. It's not only the fact that you're going to be hauling more than your own body weight across the ice, it's actually the fact that you're going to be in your own head for over 12 hours a day, every single day, in my case for over 100 days. I left university in 2007, and after that I really developed a real love for the outdoors, and I found myself in endurance sport, and I really found that the ultimate endurance sport is pitting yourself against some of the most hostile conditions on Earth in the polar regions. And you're not trying to conquer these kind of places, they are far more powerful than you could ever be. What you're trying to do is survive and live there for a short period of time before you scamper away back to the UK. Well, the conditions that you tend to experience when you're in the Arctic especially, they can vary a great deal. Most of the times when you actually want to travel in these locations is actually early in the spring, because the ice conditions tend to be a bit better. And so what that brings with it is very, very high winds. You get big storms up in the Arctic in the spring. So at times you get temperatures down to -30 or -40 degrees. And that really, it hits you like a sledgehammer every single morning when you're getting out of the tent.
You got it!
The headline expedition to date was the 2008 Tyso Trans-Greenland expedition, and that was us walking 1,374 miles all the way from one coast of Greenland to the other and back again. And it took us 113 days. So that's the equivalent of walking from the south coast of England all the way to the top of Scotland and all the way back again. And we were lucky that actually got us the record for the longest unsupported polar journey in history.
Now, how would you fancy dragging the equivalent of 6 sacks of potatoes? Worse still, doing it in temperatures as low as -50. A Portsmouth man is hoping to do just that and become the youngest Brit to reach the South Pole. Alex Hibbert.
It's Alex Hibbert from Portsmouth.
Alex Hibbert.
Alex Hibbert from Portsmouth.
Alex Hibbert.
Team leader Alex Hibbert. He's the youngest Briton to attempt such a feat.
Okay, so when you're training for these kind of expeditions, you're actually going to be looking at the endurance mostly. And so you spend a lot of time working on your cardiovascular ability, and so you'll be spending a lot of time running, on your road bike, a lot of time rowing and doing things which basically get your muscles into that mode where they're looking to work for the long term. Just imagine standing in the middle of a completely white landscape, a white desert, turning 360 degrees around and just seeing flat white nothing. It is an absolutely magical experience, a real otherworldly experience, which you can only really find in these kind of locations. But what I also think is important is that the expeditions have a real social benefit, and that's why I think that scientific research and I think that charity fundraising and awareness raising are absolutely fundamental things that you must tie into your expedition plan. Very few things in the world more intimidating than going in front of a huge group of people and speaking, but it's actually one of the most important things in the fallout from a polar expedition, is that ability to go up on stage and retell that story to everyone who's there. It means that you can share your experiences and things that you've learned with an enormous number of people. Well, the book of the expedition, The Long Haul, was actually an account of the expedition all the way from the very start, back when I was 18, 19 years old, and all the way through the expedition itself and the fallout from it. Now, the book actually took 7 or 8 months to write, so it was actually longer than the expedition itself. But I think it really gives you a bit of insight into both what it takes to put an expedition together and what it takes to actually do the expedition itself, and a few lessons which I learnt along the way.